students. Let us start with today's lesson on the topic some basic concepts of chemistry. So today we are going to discuss about the laws of chemical combination, and in that law of conservation of mass, law of constant composition, law of multiple proportion, law of reciprocal proportion, and Gay-Lussac law along with their examples. So the first is law of chemical combination. One of the most important aspects of the subject of chemistry is the study of chemical reactions. These chemical reactions take place according to certain laws called the laws of chemical combination. These are laws of conservation of mass, law of constant composition, law of multiple proportion, law of reciprocal proportions, law of combining volumes, that is Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volumes. The first four laws deal with the mass relationships, whereas the fifth law, that is the Gay-Lussac law, deals with the volumes of the reacting gases. So let us discuss each one of them in details. So first law is law of conservation of mass. You must have studied in your class 9th. This law is being given by a great French chemist Antoine Lavoisier in 1789. He stated that in all physical and chemical changes, the total mass of the reactants is equal to that of the product. Or in other words, we can say that matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. So for example, suppose when matter undergoes a physical reaction, we are taking a physical reaction. So suppose example is a piece of ice is taken in a small conical flask. It is well corked and weighed. The flask is now heated gently to melt the ice into water. So what will you observe? The flask is again weighed. It is found that there is no change has taken place. No change is taken place. So what you can conclude that the mass of the reactant is equals to the mass of the product. So next one, when matter undergoes under a chemical change. So precipitation reaction we can take, for example, Landolt took solutions of sodium chloride and silver nitrate separately into limbs of Landolt's tube. You can see in the picture given here, it is this type of tube in the lab is known as Landolt's tube. So the limbs were then corked and then the tube was weighed. Thereafter, the tube was tilted to allow the two solutions to mix. As a result of the following chemical reaction, a curdy white precipitate of silver chloride is formed. So you can see the example, NaCl plus AgNO3 is giving NaNO3 plus AgCl. So this is the chemical reaction. So after the reaction, the tube was weighed again. It was found that weight practically remained unchanged. So moving further, you can see that mass of the reactant is equals to the mass of the product. So let us proceed further. So second law is law of constant composition, or we can also call it law of definite proportion. So this law was discovered by a French chemist J.L. Proust in 1779. It states that a chemical compound is always found to be made up of same elements combined together in the same fixed proportion by mass. So for example, pure water obtained from whatever source, like suppose well, river, lake or sea or any country, India, Russia, America, etc., will always be made up of only hydrogen and oxygen elements combined together in the same fixed ratio of 1:8 by mass. So what we can conclude from here, that whatever be the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen, whatever be the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in India or wherever some other places, that will remain fixed. So, but there are some limitations of this law as well, like this law is not applicable if the element exists in different isotopes, which may be involved in the formation of compound. So for example, like in the formation of compound CO2, we are knowing that carbon having isotopes. So if C12 isotope combines, the ratio of CO will be 12:32. Carbon having mass 12 and oxygen having 16. So 2 oxygen atom are there. So it ratio will be 12:32. But if C14 isotope is being combining, then the ratio will be 14:32. So that's why here this is the limitation of this very law. Again, one more limitation, the elements may combine in the same ratio but the compounds formed may be different. Like in the compound C2H5OH and CH3OCH3, both having same molecular formula, C2H6O. So the ratio of C is to H is to O is equals to 12:3:8 by mass. Whatever be these two having different compounds, these two are the two different compounds and but having the same molecular formula. So that's why the ratio of by mass, in terms of mass, the ratio is same in both these compounds. So this is the another limitation of law of constant composition. So now moving towards the third law, that is law of multiple proportions. So this law was first studied by Dalton in 1804 and stated as follows. When two elements combine to form two or more chemical compounds, then the masses of one of the elements which combine with a fixed mass of the other bear a simple ratio to one another. Okay, so let us take example to get this statement more clear. So suppose compounds of carbon and oxygen. So the element carbon combines with oxygen to form two compounds, namely carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. So carbon combines with oxygen giving CO2 as well as CO under different set of conditions. So in CO2, we are knowing 12 parts by mass of carbon combined with 32 parts by mass of oxygen. But in CO, 12 parts by mass of carbon combines with 16 parts only by mass of oxygen. So therefore, the masses of oxygen only which combine with a fixed mass of carbon, means here the mass of the carbon is fixed. In CO2 also by mass carbon is having 12 parts, and in CO as well by mass carbon is having 12 parts. So with a fixed mass of carbon, that is 12 parts, in CO and CO2 are the masses of oxygens are 16 and 32 respectively. So these masses of oxygen bear a simple ratio of 16:32, or we can say 1:2 to each other. So this is one of the example of law of multiple proportion. So this is the next example to get you more clear about law of multiple proportion. You can see the oxides of nitrogen over here. Okay, so nitrous oxide N2O, nitric oxide NO, nitrogen trioxide N2O3, nitrogen tetroxide N2O4, nitrogen pentoxide N2O5. So here by mass, in the nitrogen, in nitrogen dioxide, in terms of mass it is 28. All the numbers are written here in terms of mass. So in nitric oxide, nitrogen is 14 part, in nitrogen trioxide is 28, like that. So you can say that by fixing the mass of nitrogen, we are fixing here the mass of nitrogen as 14 parts. Suppose we are fixing the nitrogen part as 14 parts. So the masses of oxygen in these 5 oxides are 8. Why 8? Because in N2O the nitrogen part is 28, but we are fixing nitrogen to 14. So that's why we are dividing 16 by 2 again. So we are also taking oxygen as half, that is 8. So 8, 16, 24, 32 and 40 parts respectively. So these masses bear a simple ratio of 1:2:3:4:5 to one another. So this is one other example of law of multiple proportion. Now switching towards the next law, that is law of reciprocal proportions. So this law was put forward by Richter in 1792. He stated that the ratio of the masses of two elements A and B, which combine separately with a fixed mass of the third element C, is either the same or some simple multiple of the ratio of the masses in which A and B combine directly with each other. So again, let us take some example for getting it more clear. So first one is like this. The elements you are able to see over here, the triangle being given of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon is combining with hydrogen to form CH4, carbon is combining with oxygen to form CO2, and hydrogen is combining with oxygen to form H2O. So let us proceed. The elements of carbon and oxygen combine separately, okay, and with the third element hydrogen to form CH4, H2O, and then they combine directly with each other to form CO2. Now in CH4, 12 parts by mass of carbon is present combined with 4 parts of by mass of hydrogen, and in H2O, 2 parts by mass of hydrogen combined with 16 parts by mass of oxygen. Thus, the masses of carbon and oxygen which combine with fixed masses of hydrogen, say 4 parts, suppose we are fixing the mass of hydrogen over here, 4 parts, so that are the masses are 12 and 32, that is they are in the ratio of 12 is to 32, or in simple ratio 3 is to 8. So now in CO2, 12 parts by mass of carbon is directly combining with 32 parts by mass of oxygen. So that is they combine directly in the ratio 3 is to 8. So which is the same as the first ratio. So we can say that the masses combine directly with each other in simple ratio. So let us take one more example to get it more. So this one, law of reciprocal proportion, we are taking here hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. You can see over here students, hydrogen is combining with sulfur to form H2S, hydrogen sulfide. Sulfur is combining with oxygen to form sulfur dioxide, SO2, and hydrogen is combining with oxygen to form H2O, water. So for in H2S, the ratio is 2 parts by mass of hydrogen is to 32 parts by mass of sulfur, because atomic mass of sulfur is 32. So in simple ratio 1 is to 16. Now again in SO2, 32 parts by mass of sulfur is combining with again 32 parts, because oxygen O2 is there. So 16 into 2, 32. So the simple bare ratio is 1 is to 1. So when we are taking ratio of these two, we are getting 1 by 16 is to 1 by 1. So we are getting a simple ratio 1 is to 16. So when we are now calculating for water, so we are observing that the ratio is 1 is to 8 by mass in water. So we can say that when we are taking the ratio of both these, or we can say that it is the simple multiple, 1 is to 8 is the simple multiple of the 1 is to 16. So we can say that it is in relation, it illustrates, this example illustrates the law of reciprocal proportions. So now moving further, the fifth law and the last one is Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volumes. So in 1808, Gay-Lussac stated that when gases react together, they always do so in volumes which bear a simple ratio to one another and to the volumes of the products, if these are all gases, provided all measurements of volumes are done under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. So this is the statement given by Gay-Lussac. Okay, so let us discuss it through an example. So first illustration is like this: combination between hydrogen and oxygen. So you are knowing that, you can see over here from the diagram as well, 2 volumes of hydrogen is being taken. 2 volumes means H2 plus H2, 2 volumes of hydrogen being taken, and it is being reacting with 1 volume of oxygen, 1 volume of oxygen. So, and how much volume of water, when hydrogen combines with oxygen, it is giving water. So how much volumes in terms, here we are calculating the thing in terms of volumes. So when 2 volumes of hydrogen always combine with 1 volume of oxygen to produce 2 volumes of water vapor. Here also the ratio between the volumes of the reactants and the products is simple, that is 2:1:2. Or else we can also, when we are writing the equation H2 plus O2 gives H2O, and when we are balancing it we are getting 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. So that is, the simple ratio is 2:1:2. 2 volumes of hydrogen is reacting, combining with 1 volume of oxygen to give 2 volumes of water. So moving further, this is the second illustration, combination between hydrogen and chlorine. So here you can see that 1 volume of hydrogen and 1 volume of chlorine is going to be react. When we are writing equation, what we are writing? H plus Cl gives HCl. So here what is happening? 1 volume of hydrogen is combining with 1 volume of chlorine, always combine to form 2 volumes of hydrochloric acid. Why 2 volumes? When we are writing equation, in terms of equation you are writing, so what you are getting? So the ratio between the volumes of the reactants and the product in this reaction is simple, that is 1:1:2. Hence it illustrates the law of combining volumes. So this is the law of combining volumes, or you can say Gay-Lussac's law. So in terms of equation also you can understand it, like H2 is combining with Cl2, so it is giving HCl. So when you are going to balance it, what you are getting? H2 plus Cl2 gives 2HCl. So 1:2. So the simple ratio is 1:1:2. So these are the 5 laws which we have discussed now under the topic laws of chemical combination. I hope you have understood these laws of chemical combination and their examples. So we will discuss some more thing in our next class. Thank you, students.